Hi there, Ram owners. Today in your 2019 Ram 3500, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install PTC's replacement cabin filter. And here we can see our old filter next to our new filter, and our new filter doesn't have anything in it, and you'll also notice they both do have the labels on the bottom for the direction of airflow. Now, one of the things that you'll also notice here is that our factory filter here has significantly less pleats in it than what our new filter does. The more pleats we have, the more filtration we're going to get. That's more surface area for the air to flow through to capture the dirt. So this filter is going to provide more filtration than what our factory one did, and I can definitely feel a difference too in the material. This one here feels much thinner than what this one does here. This one feels much more rigid, much stronger type of filter. Now, there's not a lot of abuse that this gets other than sucking up dirt, but again, having this more pleats is going to be more filtration. We'll begin our installation on the passenger side by removing our glove box. So first we're going to want to head and lower it down. Just pull the lever. And you'll notice on the right side here that we have a small cable. This is for the dampener that lets it lower down slowly. So we'll need to remove this before we can take it out. This just simply pushes down. You'll kind of see a little slot there at the bottom. We're going to push it towards that. And then we can just kind of pull it off of there. You can go ahead and let it go. It is going to suck back up in there, but once we get the glove box out of the way, we'll be able to grab it. At this point now, we just kind of give a little bit of a pressure towards the inside here on each side and just kind of gently pull it downward. The little tabs will pop, which will then let it come down even further, and then we can pull it towards the rear once we get down low enough to release it. Now that we got the glove box out of the way, this is the opening behind it. You'll see there's another opening here, and that's where we're going to find our cabin filter housing. There's a tab on each side, and if we press in on this tab here, it will allow us to pull the cover out. We are going to do the same thing over on the other side. It's a little hard to see because it's tucked back behind the dash, but it works just like it did on that side. Now that we got it off, one of the things I wanted to point out, here in the middle you see that it says airflow, and there's arrows on each side indicating that air is flowing in that direction. When you take your old filter out, you'll probably notice that there's arrows on that too, because the filter does need to be inserted a certain way, and our new filter will be labeled as well. The filter just slides out of there, and you can see there where it says airflow, the arrow's pretty well worn off, but it was pointing down as well. And here on the inside, you can see all the dirt and debris that we've collected. This is all the things that would be blowing out of the vents into our cabin if our filter wasn't in place. This collects a lot of pollen and really helps you out during the allergy seasons by keeping it out of your truck. This also helps to reduce smells because these dirt debris and other things can build up inside your system, which can cause bacterial growth, which can also lead to offensive odors. We can now take our new filter, ensure we've got the airflow in the correct location there, and we're just going to slide it in place. And more often than not, the arrows that you see there will be the same direction when you can properly read the word airflow. With our air filter in place, we can then put our cover back on, and this just snaps right back into place. So we're just going to line it up and push it on until it clicks in on both sides. You won't get an audible click, but you can grab it here in the center and see if you can pull it off. Check each side without touching the release tabs. If you can't pull either side off, we know that it's clicked in. We can now put our glove box back in place. Before you do so, make sure you grab your cable here, because if you do put it in these bottom slots, this cable can be hard to grab. So we're just going to pull it off to the side here. Make sure it's off to the side. You don't want to catch it in any of the hoops there. And then we'll just take our glove box, line up the bottom tabs into the slots, and then we're just going to roll it up until it clicks back into place. Once it clicks there, we can reinsert our side piece back into the hole here. And you can actually see it here from the inside, where I'm going to stick the round piece in, and then we're just going to push it back up to where it locks in. And it's going to look just like it did before we took it apart now. At this point, anything that came out of your glove box you can put back in, and your installation is complete. I do recommend at this time that you turn your key on and turn on your blower motor and just make sure everything sounds okay. Sometimes when you replace your air filter, If you have any leaves or debris in there, when you go to slide that old filter out, those leaves can fall down in there and they might make a little noise. If that's the case, you can often just take your filter back out and use a little bit of compressed air to blow that debris out of there so your blower motor's not hitting it, making any noise. So I've gone ahead and turned the car on now. We're going to put our fan on full blast, starting on a lower setting and then just working our way up to make sure we don't hear anything. You don't hear anything on the low settings. And here on our highest settings, we also don't hear any noise, so we're all good to go. And that completes our installation of PTC's replacement cabin filter on our 2019 Ram 3500.